Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and this one's awesome. It's with Rod and Brittney from Scott's A1 Barbecue in Columbia, South Carolina. I've been watching them from afar for so long, and I've wanted to talk to them, but then I got an additional nudge when I talked to Joe from Ministers of Smoke, and he said that their ribs were the best he's had in the entire country. And after listening to this, you're going to know why the ribs are so great, the brisket's so great, the oxtails are so, the sides are so great. You're going to learn about how much time and effort and love and compassion they put into their food, into what they're doing. And also there's so many little interesting tidbits about what Rod does. It's fascinating and inspirational. A lot of people like to contact a bunch of people in the barbecue world if they're starting a barbecue business. He went at this on his own, headway, figuring things out on his own. It's super fascinating. I know you're gonna love it. I can't thank them enough for taking the time as a couple to sit down and talk to us. So be sure to follow them on social media so that way you could have some of their food. So remember to stay safe and visit your local barbecue joint. Good afternoon, guys. How are you doing?
Doing Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to talk to you guys. And what's funny is I've wanted to talk to you for a long time, and then Joe from Ministers of Smoke, he said that your ribs, and I think I even told you that your ribs were his favorite for anywhere in the entire country, which was high praise. That's really high praise. That's amazing.
Yeah, and to say he came here pretty much 2 years ago, and it's still like fresh on his mind like that. And when he told me that, you kind of blow it off like, yeah, okay, whatever. You're from Texas. So I wasn't really taking it too serious. When he said it again in the interview, I was like, oh, okay. He really means what he's saying about this product. Little old me in Columbia, South Carolina.
To clarify, because you're in Columbia, but is there also Eastover or something? Did I read that too, or is that close to Columbia? Or
That's where I'm from.
did you both grow up in South Carolina?
Yes.
Close by?
Columbia for me.
And Eastover for me. Eastover is about 20 minutes away from Columbia.
What is Columbia like, and what's Eastover like? Is it a smaller town than Columbia?
Very small town, very country style town. Everybody knows everybody. Family oriented. A lot of barbecue is basically the roots of Eastover. That's pretty much where all this nucleus kind of built from. Eastover.
And Columbia is just a bigger version of that. It's not
for real.
Yeah, but it's pretty much the same. Everybody knows everybody.
Is Columbia growing? Is it?
Oh yeah, definitely. A little too much.
Yeah.
Like a little bit too much. Well, I think that's the case for everywhere, but especially smaller towns. It is a shame. It's important, I guess, for the economy for growth, but it does, it takes away some of that, the specialness of a small town. So were you guys, because I've read different things about you guys, barbecue was part of your family traditions, right?
Yes.
Correct. So my grandfather and his brother, so they both had, well, my granddaddy, he would only cook hogs for 4th of July. We would raise hogs, grow his own vegetables and fruit with my grandmother, and she would make the hash and the sauce and all the sides, the cakes. And my grandfather, my dad, and my uncles, they would cook the hog on a brick pit over coals. They would burn the wood barrel down, and I was a kid running around seeing this. And every time I smell whole hog cooking, it takes me back to like 5, 6 years old. And I'm 38 years old. And every time I smell it, it almost brings a tear to my eye because I lost both my grandparents about 5 years ago. And it's ironic, we're doing this interview today, that my grandmother's anniversary 5-year mark is today.
Oh, wow. Wow, well, it's amazing how a smell can bring you back. It's a powerful thing. You don't realize how lucky that is too, I'm sure you do realize. I didn't have, like, a lot of people have had that tradition of cooking hogs on every 4th of July. What a neat family tradition.
Oh yeah, you would basically he would isolate the hog and guess he would fatten it up a little bit more for the family. That was just normal. Like, we were excited. We knew 4th of July what was going to happen. It's a very graphic story, but basically you would kill the hog and They would process it and clean it and prepare it, and it was just like the best experience in the world. And I would say I kind of took it for granted because you're a child and you don't know any better.
Yeah.
But I just wish I could just share a few seconds, few minutes, right? Share these special moments that I kind of have pretty much by myself now with, my granddad, his brothers. He had two brothers that had two small barbecue restaurants also in East.
Oh,
it was tradition, strong tradition, and it's just embedded in me. And now I look back on all that stuff that I was doing as a child around barbecue and seeing all this stuff, and I never in a million years would have guessed I would have took this on like this.
yeah.
Never.
That's a common thing that people say. It does sometimes, but you never know where you're going to end up, and you
True.
followed your passion. Brittney, did you have a tradition of that in your families too?
It's kind of the same, but I didn't grow up with the actual hog cook
Mm-hmm.
barbecue. I actually just watched my grandmother and my mother all those years in the kitchen, and so I've kind of taken on those things for my entire family. We're us as a whole now.
Yeah.
Our sides and baking and things like that, it just has turned into it's what we do. We love to entertain, so it just came natural to us as well, and it's enjoyable. We find the greatest peace in it.
There's something you're giving of yourself. It's a very special that offering of food and sharing of food. There's nothing like it. So they were really good cooks, right?
Oh yeah, everybody loved it, and I kind of have pieced together traditional things from his side as well as my side, and then tied, of course, how we like our food now. Because even after growing up, some things you didn't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it comes natural.
Mm-hmm.
We just enjoy creating new things and feeding people. The way to a person's heart is through their stomach.
I agree completely. I agree. How did you guys meet? Did you meet because you guys were? Yeah, is that a
long story?
Yeah.
What's the semi-shorter story?
Through our siblings.
Yeah,
we met through our siblings. 2005, 4, and we've always been connected, but then we got older and we got really connected.
We are together right now, so yeah.
Right.
So 2004, 2005 is when you guys officially met. But then, when did you guys get?
2017.
Oh, 2017. What did you think both of your paths would be?
It would be family and business related. Listen, I wear many hats in my family, so yeah. I was destined to be my own boss. But either it was going to be something with helping people with my hands and my heart. That's just what I do. Wow. I care for people. Right now, I am still the administrator for home health care. So it was bound to be either healthcare or food.
I know that very well, Brittney. Because I deal with a lot of home, because my mom has had both knees replaced, both shoulders, two back surgery. So we've had home health care every time we deal with a different one.
Yeah.
So, similar but different. That's an important job, and that's also it's a different type of stress. But also you're helping people in the biggest way, because it's a challenge when you bring in people home from things and dealing with home health care. That's a challenge. You're juggling emotions and people scared of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot. Wow. My hat goes off to you. You're a good person for that. That's because I've dealt with a lot of people in your position, and I know how important it is. So thank you for what you do. Gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
And then Rodrick, do you go by Rodrick or Rod or both? Or?
Rod, Scott, Rodrick. I got many names.
All
right. Initially thought I was going into the military. I did 3 years in ROTC. I took up AutoCAD, doing like floor plans for houses. I took up that for 3 years in high school. Mechanic work was kind of like embedded in around me as well, just like the barbecue, because my dad has his own body shop and stuff like that. So I grew up around cars and guys with cars, motorcycles, and all kind of stuff you can name, gearhead. So I'm a real true gearhead.
Okay.
Basically. So that's why I'm currently a mechanic now, because it's part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably one of those three.
Did you think that you'd be popping up on the every other week for a barbecue, right?
I graduated in 2003, so being that young, that's what 20 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, I didn't see this at all. And the spot that we go to normally on Garners Ferry right now. I passed by there a million times, and that was never a thought in my mind. Barbecue either. I mean, I would cook on the grill and get family together. Like, you know, I'm kind of like her in the male form for my family as she is for her family. Everybody would, you know, always tell me my food was good. I used to cook direct over charcoal and over a little $100 char griller grill, and I would make some of the best stuff you could ever name. Just basically gambling, cooking, not knowing no better what I was doing. Didn't know nothing about, you know, internal temperatures or none of that stuff like I know now. I used to boil my ribs and I would put them on charcoal, get them good and char, and everybody loved it. I just didn't know, you know, back then. I mean, I'm talking 2008, 2009. You know, it was always there in some kind of way.
Yeah. No, my mom boiled ribs and then finished them off on the grill, and it was
If
great.
you know what you're doing there, good.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Yeah.
But it's
But
not.
I don't do that no more. That's seen the past.
Yeah, we're not saying that that's how you do it now. We're just
Oh
saying that
no.
that was
No.
a process. And so then, how does this grad? Do you guys get a bigger pit or something, and then decide to do catering things, or how does this evolve from that?
It started small, and it was an idea because, you know, we always pretty much we supply the food or either cooking, you know, for everybody all the time. And it was like, you know, parties and stuff at home. We always kept saying we should sell plates, we should sell plates. And it was just something we would talk about over and over. We never moved on it. We just sat on it for a while. And one day I just started writing down names for the business at work. And I had like 20 names. And I sent it to her. I'm like, what do you think about this? And she disagreed on a lot. And we eventually came down to one in particular. I think it was two. It's basically the name that we have now. So I got a Traeger grill like a few months before that. And that kind of resparked my interest in barbecue when I got the Traeger. And I thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. Not knocking Traeger, but I moved on that and I started doing pop-ups with the Traeger grill. And I actually got a bigger
Whoa.
model. I think it was the Timberline to go with it. And I had a solar generator and we would go set up. And that's how we started doing pop-ups basically off pellet grills.
Wow. Did
And
you
we did that for, I believe, a year and a half. And we just kind of winged it and went after it. But I also remember seeing the big propane tanks on Instagram. And I just couldn't understand what it was because we're not used to that down here. We're
Mhm.
used to charcoal.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, I started doing research on it. I think I came across Aaron Franklin and John Lewis and stuff like that. I dug deeper, went down this rabbit hole of wood-based barbecue. I went to Lewis Barbecue, ate the brisket, and I was like, what is this? And then I found out that it was beef because I never knew what brisket was. We're foreign to brisket.
That's amazing.
And honestly, I think the first piece of brisket I ever had was from Firehouse. And I also
Oh,
thought it was good at that particular time. Basically, the volume grew and it grew and it grew. But when I ate that brisket and tasted that wood smoke flavor, I was like, oh, I got to do something different here.
so it changed you.
Yes. I always wanted to kind of work whole hog in, but I never got around to it. And it just grew so big. It just grew so big. The demand grew.
From a little
And
Traeger.
from the little small Traeger
Yeah, it's
to
amazing.
500-gallon, I never cooked on one a day in my life. So I got it from Austin Smokeworks.
Which is a great
And
company.
when I got it, I was slightly intimidated by it. I didn't cook on it for a week. It sat in the backyard. I would go out there and look at it. I wouldn't even cook on it. I was like, man, I'm gonna mess something up. You know, I already had wood dried out and ready to
Oh,
go.
it's
And
hilarious.
yeah, so that Saturday after I got it the day before Mother's Day. I remember this so particular. I bought, I think, sausage and ribs or something like that, and I just went at it. And I basically taught myself how to cook on the offset.
Wow. Without like probably what you weren't even watching videos and things, you just learned. So it seems like you learned by feel. You were doing that early on.
Yes.
So you have that in you.
It just grew from there, and you learn so many techniques and tricks when you're cooking on the offset. Everybody always, I used to get a slight slander about, well, all you're doing is throwing wood, but I would promise you it's not that. It's so many factors in cooking on the offset. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, definitely. This early stages, were you popping up at a place that you were allowed to pop up, or were you going to just a random place, or how was
same exact spot we're going to right now?
Oh, so it's called something Ferry or something, or
well, that's the road. Yeah.
Oh, that's the road. Okay.
So it has a huge parking lot next to a McDonald's, and Garners Ferry is basically a 4-lane highway going into Columbia and going out. So it's like a main stretch, pretty much.
So a lot of traffic.
Oh, a lot of traffic. And so it's open, so there's no trees. So people have no choice but to see you.
There's a Walmart. So, everybody goes to Walmart.
Yeah. thousands of people. Wait, so but how did you talk to them? Like, how did you set this up? If so, someone that's listening to this or watching this right now that wants to start a pop-up, did you have to ask the people that own the land, or did you just
You should.
You should, right?
Yeah.
So you got permission and you did that, and it was slowly getting. Did you have an internet? I mean, an Instagram account at the time?
Yes. And the Instagram account, it was a A1 logo I Googled and put it as pretty much the picture. And so that's when I started getting creative, because I'm also into art and stuff like that too. So basically that's where the floor plan stuff come from, because when I grew up, I used to draw all the time, and his art was like a big factor in my life. So I actually designed all my logos along with one of my good friends, Alex. He puts it together. I send him ideas, and we'll work off one another. So we just received logo number 3, and we're trying to get shirts going for the business as well.
You should definitely, and have them online. Maybe that'd be nice if you could.
Oh yeah.
Well, do you get to a chance that you just have a sketchbook and keep it around, or do any more drawings, or are you too busy?
I don't have much time to draw anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't. Mechanic work and cooking. I cut my own wood.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, I do a lot, so I don't really have time to do simple stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
I wish I did, honestly.
Yeah. Well, you'll have the time, hopefully, maybe years from now, a decade from now, maybe. It's
right.
We all but it is important. Like that's something too. Like it's a muscle that you have to keep using.
True.
Yeah, I can't really draw. Like I could draw abstract things or paint abstract. Yeah. So I see stuff that people do and I go, I could do that, but it's like doing it is what you have to actually do it. You could say, I could do. Yeah.
It's a talent.
It is a talent. So as you're progressing, you guys have pretty good lines now. Is it a pretty big?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are people expecting tomorrow? A line?
Yeah, we recently had somebody give us some kind words on a post on Facebook. It was their first time trying us at their recent pop-up. And when I say they went crazy over those oxtails.
Oh yeah, I read that.
We started doing oxtails. And so I do expect a real line tomorrow. Now, we always have a few people in the parking lot just kind of waiting on us to open. Either they pre-ordered or they saw the smoke in the smoker. Mm-hmm. But I think tomorrow's gonna be a little different. If I'm honest, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there'll be a lot of new faces.
Oh yeah.
Based off that post, but nothing we can't handle.
And also people are there 9:30 in the morning wanting food.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's unreal.
We've moved the time up like a couple times.
You don't want breakfast, you just want barbecue.
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. That's exciting though. That people will stand in line or come to you that early to make sure they get your product.
Yeah.
So that's what drives us. That's what keeps us going. That's
special. That's really cool. That's amazing. Do you guys officially open at 11 or is it 10:30 or 10:30?
Yeah.
But there'll be people there like 9:30.
9:45.
9:45. Traylon. And then do you guys cook? Is this something I don't know? Maybe you don't want to say. Do you cook at your house and then bring it over, or do you cook there at that place, or how?
Both.
Okay. What kind of menu are you serving? Because you said oxtails, which those look spectacular.
Brisket, ribs, pulled pork,
Smoked turkey wings.
Smoked turkey wings, cabbage, mac and cheese, smoked beans, green beans,
Hash and rice. Yeah.
Wow.
Tomorrow.
Can you describe the cabbage and the hash and rice for people? Like, is that a family recipe?
Cabbage is what I grew up on. I do not like already prepared foods. I have nothing against it, but I just believe in serving people what I've experienced as a child, and everybody seems to love that. Like I said earlier, I base our food off of what we like, because if it's not off of what we like, I wouldn't expect anybody else to eat it. So everything is pretty much made from scratch. I don't buy cabbage from a food truck. I don't buy collard greens from a food truck. Not knocking that, but that's
You're not buying it in a bag already prepped. Yeah.
You won't say you taste our food so much of anywhere else.
How is cabbage? Because I love cabbage, but I don't know how you guys serve it.
Boiled.
Is it
It's pretty
boiled?
much boiled on top of the stove. Of course, you can have it either way, fried. But I was steamed. I would say steamed more so than boiled, and just seasoned with love.
Secret love. That's a secret spices. No, that's great. That's cabbage. Actually, that's because a lot of people don't have people have like a coleslaw, I guess, and there's cabbage in that, but it's not the same. People, that's a great thing that cuts with the richness of things. That's smart.
Oh yeah.
Well, I thought with oxtails, because most people like cabbage with oxtails, whether oxtails are with gravy or however you've cooked them, they just seem to pair well. So I said, let's try it. This is actually our first time having cabbage.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, let's go through.
So when we go other places, if I get oxtails, or because I wouldn't order it. I don't order that kind of stuff.
Coming from Jamaican.
Yeah,
Jamaican
it would be cabbage.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a simple eater, but I do like everything that I grew up on. But I'm not I eat what he eat. If he he try it, I'm gonna try it.
But it's not. But the cabbage isn't it's not a Jamaican style. But it's
southern. It's
southern
definitely
style.
southern.
Like something that goes with the oxtail.
Yeah.
You can put it over your rice.
Yeah.
You can eat it by itself. It's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be flavorful. So.
And hash and rice. Can you explain that to people? Because a lot of people haven't had that before.
Hash is it's basically a stew of pork. It's like cooked down into like a gravy, but it's chunky with like meat chunks in it, but it's like cooked down, so it's like broken down like fine. So when you eat it over rice, it's like a combination, pretty much like. To pull pork is like French fries to a burger. That's barbecue South. It's completely necessary. And pretty much it's a Carolina thing.
Yeah, so I was just mustard based.
Mustard
but you can get it other places not, right?
Yeah, it's people that cook it other styles, but mustard to me is just like the king. Like it's nothing better than mustard based hash.
Wow. I can't wait to try it because I've never had it before. I haven't been to South Carolina. Well, I've been to North Carolina. I used to go a lot for business. But I never had hash and rice there. I guess my biggest thing was hush puppies. I'd never had hush puppies before, and that was something. And is that a Carolina thing too, or more North Carolina?
I mean, I've seen some guys do it, but I would think it's more of North Carolina.
Interesting.
We don't really see that too much in South Carolina.
Or in like low country.
Yeah, probably low country, more toward the coast.
And you guys have Brunswick stew is South Carolina, right?
Yeah, that's more towards the coast too.
So can you explain how you prepare the oxtails? Because that's something too people haven't had. You've a lot of things that people haven't had before.
It's a lot behind that, but it's basically they're smoked. I kind of cook to color on those, so I don't want them too dark. But you have to give it a lot of time to break down. Similarly in the style of basically cooking brisket in a sense, but you got like smaller chunks. It's more to it, that I do.
Yeah. I don't want to know I don't want to know secret. I'm more so like if someone tried it, what would it taste like?
It's like kind of like beef rib meets beef stew meets brisket is the best way I can explain it. Yeah, it has a fat ring on the outside that you have to trim down, so you hit the fat first. Kind of the same sense with brisket. It's like the same exact thing in a sense, but it tastes totally different than just brisket alone. It has its own unique flavor, and it's strange. It's coming off the same animal, and it has a totally different flavor. I mean, I guess you could say the same about Boston butts and whole hogs.
True.
Like when you cook a Boston butt versus cooking a whole hog, they're night and day. Night and day.
I think I've had oxtail, but it was cooked like in an oven, I imagine. It wasn't.
If you ever have
stewed or crock pot, that's
yeah,
what I was raised on.
I don't even really care to eat them that way no more. I only like them smoked now.
That's awesome. And there's a sauce. Like, don't you have? Is it a?
Well, you have to braise them. I have a concoction, you know, that I base them in.
Okay.
You know, I can't.
I don't want people to know. I don't want anyone to know.
I can't speak on it. I definitely got to keep that one in the safe.
Because it's so special too.
Oh yeah, it's very special, and everybody always gives the high praise on those. Like they have never had any oxtails that taste like this in their life, and it was something, a random thought in my mind. But I saw Matt Horn cooking them, but he was cooking whole oxtails.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember. Mm-hmm.
So we don't get whole oxtails over here. I've never seen them anyway. And I just started playing with it one day and just randomly got something that tasted good, but it wasn't quite where it is now. And I've tweaked it probably 5-6 times and to come up with the formula I have now. And now it has its own unique base of what it is. And it's amazing. Wow. It really is.
So do you think those will sell out first tomorrow?
They're going to fly.
Between that and the brisket.
That and the brisket.
Yeah. People buy them by the pound. So I sell them by the pound, sell them on the plate, you know, however they want them.
Do you guys set up some little tables out there, or do people sit in their cars, or is it
they will sit in their car, but we don't set any tables up because we carry so much right now, and we have a load when we go. I take my smokers down. Well, at least one of them. I got a 1,000 also, so I have two, but I take that one.
1,000 from Austin Smokeworks, or?
Yep, both for Austin Smokeworks.
Wow. So you're obviously, we'll get to it, but you're obviously planning on doing more than just what you're doing. Yeah. Well, I want to talk about your ribs because Joe brought up your ribs, and is there anything special you're doing, or is it just putting in the hours and you just? What do you think? What do you think makes your ribs so special?
I honestly would have to say it's a 3-part thing. And I would say one part is me, one part is the smoker, and the other part is the wood, how I age my wood. You know, a lot of guys, they buy their own, but I cut and age my own wood in a certain manner. And every time I cook, you know, it gives off this amazing aroma. And I got age sections. So basically I go to, like today I went to my year-old section and I cooked off of that one. And I have some that are a few months old, some that's a year old, some that's a year and a half old. So I got all these different things. So if I want a more potent smoke, I go to my younger stack. And that's a real hard-hitting smoke, you know. So I kind of mix and mingle with my wood a certain kind of way. So I don't just do, you know, I'm going to use this cord and just let it be. I mix and mingle my wood.
How did you learn that?
Self-taught.
Practice.
Just doing random stuff.
I love that. I love that so much.
That is one thing about him. He's going to work at it. He's not going to be defeated. And it's so inspirational. But yeah.
So inspirational. That inspires me. It makes me think I have to rethink some of the things I'm doing. And I'm sure people are listening to this going, I don't pay that much attention to wood.
And we also forgot turkey wings are on the menu tomorrow.
Those would be great.
I don't think we said smoked turkey wings.
I forget. I don't know. So do you have the wood at your house? Like, it's all sectioned off?
I got it all sectioned off. I got some on crates, some on 4x4 stacked up with T-posts. I got them pretty much sectioned off. And at first I used to write down which section was how old, and then it just became norm of knowing. I actually have some pecan that I just cut up 2 weeks ago, and I mix pecan and I mix oat. That's another factor also.
Does it matter if it gets rained on or weather-wise? Like, do you cover it if it's raining, or does it matter? Like, how does that? Because does it absorb enough moisture, or it doesn't absorb?
During the aging process, I just let the natural elements beat it down for 6 to 8 months before I even touch it. So I'll just let it sit out there uncovered, and the piles that I'm gonna use, or the section that I want to use, should I say, I would cover it with a tarp, or either I would put them on the smoker the week before it rains, and I'll just let
Oh,
them there.
that's a good
And if
idea.
there's any, like, I don't have any dry wood, I would take my wet wood and I would put it all the way toward the fire at the back of the smoker, where I normally don't cook anything, on the last door, and I'll let pretty much the heat dry out the wood, and I'll cycle it out. So I'm gonna always have dry wood.
So it's interesting because a lot of people talk about fire management and they talk about their fires, but they don't talk about the wood as much, or treat it like the way. I'm impressed. Yeah, like Brittney, you said, I'm inspired. Do you think that some of what you're doing is because you're a mechanic, like is because you have that mind, like you'll see a problem, like there's a problem, someone comes in with a problem, or they have and then you have to solve it, right? Is
Yes.
that
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. I've always kind of been a technical guy, even, as a young boy. So it just basically morphed into a monster. And that's where we're at now. Yeah, I mean, I never thought about it in that manner until I start talking to someone else about it, and they're blown away, like what you're saying right now. They were like, "How did you figure this out?" Or "Who taught you that?" Or, I always get that every time. I'm like, it's just stuff I just randomly thought of.
because there's guys that are on like these big text chains with other pit masters like sharing questions, answers, and things, and you're just out here figuring it all out on your own.
Yeah, I just freestyled it all.
And that speaks to what you're doing. Don't you also, you make desserts too, right?
I do. I started with, we like to call it Sweet Emily Pound Cake. Now, that is his great aunt, but my grandmother also was a big baker. I also lost my grandmother the same year he lost his granddad. And I was able to obtain all of her baking dishes and things of that nature. So what makes my baking experience so special is because I use her baking utensils, but some of her recipes, as well as Sweet Aunt Emily, that pound cake is what started me on this journey. And it has just got, my grandmother used to make a rainbow pound cake for Christmas. And Aunt Emily gave me just a regular pound cake to try, her recipe. And so I have intertwined the two and made my own recipe. And it has just been blossoming.
I love pound cakes so much.
Yes. So from there, now it's cupcakes. It's red velvet is my new customer favorite. And I'm just growing. I am evolving. I'm ever evolving.
Sounds like it. It sounds like something that you're passionate about too.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I love to help people. I love to feed people because you really truly can see how they feel. I don't know. That's just where we are.
How special are people? People are so lucky in Colombia, because this is like everything you guys are doing. You're doing from scratch. You're doing from your own device. Like you're creating these, and like you melded two different recipes together to create that recipe, and you care so much about what you're putting out. That's just because you see sometimes I'll drive by something and I wonder like if like there'll be some stuff and I'm like, wonder if the guy, he just wants to make money. Like he just wants to make some money, and I respect that. Like they want to make money, that's their life. But you
got to care about 110% every single time.
Yeah. One ingredient is missing. Don't make it. Yeah. Don't make it.
And don't try to basically cheap the process using, if you started with, an expensive ingredient, you need to stay with that expensive ingredient, because if you go to McDonald's, it has a certain flavor of French fry. That's what you're going to expect every single time. So if you don't get that, then it's going to sway you away from it. So basically, we live on consistency. We want you to have the same experience every single time. And the recipes are done the same exact way every single time.
Was there a learning curve for people for brisket in your area?
Oh my God. Yes, 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 yes. That by the pound, it's still slightly a little here and there, but by the pound and what is brisket and why does it look burnt? Oh man, we got it so bad at first. You know, people
Mhm.
didn't understand it. So I started giving out samples of it. And
Right.
once I give you that sample, the fish is on the hook. I got
Yeah.
you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of worked it. And, word of mouth, it began to spread. And I would post videos of the brisket online all the time because I would practice cooking on a random Saturday. I would go to Sam's and get me one brisket, practice it. I'd get up early Saturday morning, mess it up. Try another one the next weekend. I was spending so much money on brisket. I'm like, this is not it. Giving it away. Turkey was the same exact way. So it was like I had to keep cooking it, putting your reps in. It's
Hmm.
not something that you just get, in the blink of an eye. It just grew. And I started learning new techniques and things to do, all off being self-taught. And, after a while, pretty much I was like 90% where I needed to be on brisket. And I began talking, to other guys online. And, it was small things that I just wanted to tweak. And, I got some advice from different guys.
Yeah.
Um, it helped me out to get to that 100% mark that I was always shooting for. And I finally got it.
Nice. That's awesome. But it does. There's things that if someone's been doing it for 10 years before
Yeah.
you, there's something about that doesn't it doesn't hurt. It doesn't take away from how tenacious and how dedicated you are and how deliberate. So you're popping up every 2 weeks at this place?
Yes.
So then throughout the holidays, will that say the same? Are you looking in this area for a spot or is that secret? I don't know.
Within probably of that area, I probably would say maybe a 10-mile radius of that location, more towards the city.
Okay.
Maybe 10, 15 miles, something like that.
But is this something that you think maybe 2024 would happen?
We're keeping our fingers crossed, and we've been looking, and the commercial real estate market it's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's through the roof, and I'm like, I don't understand how you supposed to even, obtain such a thing with the numbers that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
So it's not, a walk in the park. Kind of wish we moved on this like years and years ago. I'm talking about we've been doing this for 5 years. I wish I started 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Then I would have, been able to basically defeat that. Stuff would have been way cheaper, basically.
So now it has to be kind of a perfect situation to make
Yeah.
sense.
Yes. So, of course, the lot size for the smokers is one of the most critical things
Mm.
that I got to have because I would not cook any other way. I would have to have offsets, space for the offsets, in case you wanted to do, a festival at your spot. You want to have enough land for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Decent building, it doesn't have to be anything major, but just enough, if you can seat a few people to go, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Are you doing whole hog now?
Well, I do whole hog for family on the 4th of July. Yeah, I kind of inherited my granddad's tradition pretty much.
And you build the pit?
My wife bought me a pit for my birthday. What's that, last year? She bought me a whole hog cooker
Ah,
for my birthday. And we went to Holy Smokes last year, and I saw all the BQs and stuff out there, and I was like, I gotta get back into whole hog. It was the year before last.
Yeah, when we went to
Okay.
because then you talked about it all the way up
Yeah.
until and you got me.
So we got off the bus at Holy Smokes. I mean, it was smoke everywhere, and the smell of whole hog. I mean, it blew my mind because I never seen. I don't think I ever been to a barbecue festival before
His
that.
eyes get this big.
I was like, oh my God. And, I almost shed a tear, because I just instantly stuff like that. I'm that little kid all over again. So it's something that really touches me. But I did one for the 4th of July this year. Last year, wanted to do one the year before that. Long story, but I didn't do that one.
Yeah.
So I would have had 3 under my belt, and I'm thinking about maybe doing one in December. Yeah, I want to, and the one we did for the 4th of July, to say it was my 3rd one, I honestly haven't had whole hog that tasted like that probably since my grandfather passed.
So it'd be nice to, recreate that for the holidays.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to bring that, to the stage, like kind of the same way I do brisket, just bring it as whole hog. I would trim the menu down and bring whole hog, since that's a more intensive labor job of cooking whole hog.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You're the one in line. You were with Daniel in line, right? Somewhere.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
Where was it? Where was this? Was that John G's or something?
No, we was at Robbie's City Limits.
Oh, so were you in line at City Limits? Okay.
Yeah, so we got up that morning, and I've been talking to Robbie for a while now. We would message each other all the time, and we were supposed to get up a long time ago, and I said, let's go to Robbie's spot today. And we went over there, and I think Dylan texted me or something before I got there. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to Robbie today, So, it was surprising that he texted me. He didn't even know I was going. So we was over there talking. Yeah, was his granddaughter? So yeah, we went there, and it was a nice line. I'm sitting there, I think I was drinking a beer or something, and look up, and I see Daniel Vaughn. I'm like, man, I've been following him for years. So it's kind of hard for me to, approach somebody because I don't know them personally. Yeah. But once you pretty much open the door, it's on. and we clicked instantly. And I'm like, man, it's so cool. Somebody you never thought you would meet. And then he pretty much bought all the food. We got to eat with him. Like, it was like perfect place, perfect time scenario. Yeah, it was definitely fun. And Robbie had some good food.
Yeah, he has really good food, and he's such a great guy, and that was at his new spot, right?
Right.
Yeah, did Daniel bring his kid, or was he just by himself?
No, he was by himself.
Because sometimes as a child with him, he always but that's
left him. Their family was somewhere, and they had been a few places, and because it was the summertime, and I think they took the kids somewhere, and then he kind of shot out for a second to come up with a few different places in the area.
And then you told them to go to Fork Grove, right?
Yeah, I asked him. I think I went on his Instagram before he got there, because I got slight wind that he was going to be there. He might come.
People do.
Yeah, so I went on his page, and I saw he was in Greenville. I didn't see Dylan on his story, and I mentioned something to him. I was like, man, you got to go try him out. He can get down with the best of them,
Yeah.
Dylan's my guy, and we kind of met through Minister of Smoke also.
Really?
Yes. He told him about my ribs. We was already following each other.
That's so funny.
He messaged me. It's a connection, and he invited me to go with him to Charleston Food and Wine. We just went in February. So I got all these experiences from people that I just met through barbecue. And me and Dylan text and talk all the time. I got another guy named Aaron from Plates by the Pound. We text and talk all the time. And it's just amazing connection. And we kind of basically have became friends. And it's amazing.
It is amazing. Plates by the Pound, he moved, was he in Texas somewhere and then moved to Texas, or
he was vice versa?
Colorado.
And now he's in Texas.
Okay. Yeah. And he's going to be opening a spot or something, or doing so, or
he's looking. Yeah. Okay. He just got a did he get a 500? He just got a 500 like 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny too, because I was talking to someone the other day about how we all know people like by their Instagram handle, but you don't necessarily know what they look like. You'll meet someone. Right. That's a nice thing because I know that Dylan appreciated that you were there. Like, that was almost like perfect timing that you guys were there. What are the odds that Daniel would be there? And then you got a chance to go to Fork Grove because of that. And it just,
and Dylan kind of connected me with John G.
Oh, really?
So I've been wanting to try him for a while. I think I got more wind of him when I found out he catered Jennifer Lopez's wedding. I said, oh, I got to go try this.
I didn't know he did that.
Yes.
Ah,
That's how I got onto him like that. I went up there one random Saturday, went up there early. Dylan told John G that I was gonna be there. So he came out and he told me, Dylan told me you was gonna be here. Come on to the back. So he walked me through his restaurant, showed me everything, gave me a few samples of kolaches, process, and it was like real embracing. I'm like, man, I don't even know this guy, and he's showing me love like this. And Dylan was the same way. I worked a pop up with him. I never met him in person before. I went and worked a pop up with him, and I mean, it's just like I never thought in a million years stuff like this could happen.
mm-hmm.
I've met better people in barbecue just in normal life. And I have to be honest, I mean, it's a lot of love. It's a lot of love.
So much love. And that's why people, when they hear what I do, it's like, it's hard to explain kind of what I do, but they hear about my passion for this. They think I'm just like this rabid meat eater that I just want to I eat barbecue. And it's not like the food's important. The food is very important, but it's the community. It's the people. It's meeting people. Like I would never have met you guys in any other walk of life. Like it's just, there's 365 million people in the United States. Like the odds, but you guys are so great. And I love talking to couples. I love that because people get a chance to really get to know you. They get to see the looks that Brittney gives you and back and forth and kind of like when you say something, no, but it's like, it's honest and it's real and it's loving. And I just love, I love people. And that's why I do this. And I like to share people's stories. And when I hear when someone says, oh, I listened to your podcast and I went and visited this place, it makes my heart feel so great because that's the reason why I'm doing this. I'm trying to help because I'm kind of trapped helping my mom, not trapped in a bad way. I'm just here and I want to help you guys out so much. And I've wanted to, I followed you for a long time and I've seen what you've done, but when I finally, after I talked to, I'm like, gosh, he's somebody I've wanted to talk to for a while. And that's when I reached out to you because I had been wanting to pull the trigger. And then I just finally said, hey, let's see if he wants to come on the show. So I'm so.
Oh man. Hey, if I had known this, I've been listening to you about 3 years. I know at least about 3 years.
Wow. Thank you.
So I would always, listen to the podcast while I'm cooking because that's just it helps motivate me even though I'm already cooking. It boosts my morale just a little bit more every time. Yeah. And you seem to know, the right things to say to people, and it's an embrace that you do. It's something that you do that I just can't put my finger on. Everybody doesn't have that skill. You know how to talk to people, basically.
And I learned it from my mother. My dad and my mom would go to like a party or go somewhere for an event or something because my dad was in the furniture business and he'd set her off. He'd say, go. And she'd meet everybody and come around and he'd always say to her, how do you know you met this person for 3 minutes and they have kids and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I've known these people for 20 years. I don't know. So
right.
I think it's a curiosity. I'm curious I love people and this is something that I love. And it's interesting. It is weird though to edit myself because we all stammer, we all say ums and do things, but it's interesting to hear yourself like hundreds of times doing it. So it's funny, but after a while I'm used to it. But it's I really, really appreciate. Is there anything that people need to know about you before we go?
We sell out very, very fast. That is like one.
That's good to know.
And we love what we do. We put our hearts into it. So it's not just food for us. It's definitely about, you never know how you can make somebody's day. Just by
put a good plate of food.
A good plate of food.
Yeah.
Change someone's day with a plate of barbecue. That's a big deal.
Yes. So we've had people come back 2 or 3 times at a pop-up.
The same day?
Same day. It has happened.
I love that.
I'm like, what is wrong with you in a sense? It's like, wow.
Going crazy, like they're in line
again.
So we're like, did we forget? Like I gotta get the other people. I'm glad you're back, but I thought okay.
Well, and also too, did we do something wrong? Or exactly.
Yeah, like did we leave something off?
But I could see someone coming back too for your desserts, like realizing I should have got more desserts. I should have got more sides.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You did say sausage?
No, I have tried. I really want to get back into sausage because It's a Cheerwine sausage. You know, I keep talking about John G and Dylan, but their sausage, Dylan has a jalapeno cheddar. Oh my God. And John G's Cheerwine is another, oh my God.
That sounded so good when you
But
talked
I
about
mean, all their food, you know, I mean, it's A1 quality, even though it's not A1.
it.
You know, they still have amazing food. I give them their props. So
Now people will have your story along with their story. Like I'm glad because there's people like doing these that in Texas and talking to only Texans. But I wanted to I love Texas barbecue, but I wanted to talk to people all across the United States because you guys are off the beaten path, and I want people to know. But it's now they have 3 places, 1, 2, 3. But also, have you been to how far away is Damp Good Barbecue? That guy,
he's in Raleigh.
Raleigh. How far is Raleigh from
I
you?
think that's
2 hours.
2.5, 3 hours from us.
Yeah. Someone wrote me last night and said, "Can you tell me some places in Raleigh?" So I gave them.
I want to go try him, Skylight, Sam Jones. It's another place up there someone told me about. I can't remember the name.
There's Lawrence Barbecue and there's Longleaf Swine.
It's Lawrence.
Lawrence.
It's Lawrence. Yeah.
But there's a place called Longleaf Swine that I just love that name. It just sounds so interesting. I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. It could be a tea place, but I think it's like whole hog, but
Okay.
yeah. But they're like off, there's so many places cropping up, and then But I thank you so. What's your social media so people know?
Scott's A1 Barbecue, Instagram and Facebook.
Easy enough. And your website would be your Facebook page, right? That's the most. Is that the one that you update the most, or both?
Well, we actually don't even have a website.
Yeah.
Official website. So pretty much the Instagram and the Facebook, they feed off one another because I do pretty much all the posting on stuff like that and getting the word out about the flyer. Another thing for people to know is I post a flyer on Monday before that Saturday, and it's also pre-orders. So all that intertwines up until Thursday.
So from Monday to Thursday, you could do pre-orders?
Pre-orders for Saturday.
And the cutoff is Thursday.
Yes.
12 p.m.
12 p.m. Eastern time. Not that they'd be ordering from right from Idaho, but I could. Okay, so then is it so you could order online, and then is there a certain line for that for pre-orders, or is it?
Well, normally what we'll do is we'll try to get the time that they think they'll be there, and we'll have the food pretty much hot and ready for them, and they can just come off to the side and pick up their pre-order. They don't have to wait.
All right. How do you guys feel at the end of the day? Pretty tired?
It depends on the weather.
The weather.
Yeah. So if it's like now, it's a perfect day outside. Yeah, you feel pretty good. Drink your water, you Gatorade. But if it's like blistering 95 plus degrees, beat down, bad.
Yeah.
Those are the worst.
Does it get pretty humid there?
It has its days. Yeah. It has its days.
So, I wanted one more question for Columbia. Columbia is in between what? In between, like if someone was looking at the map, Charleston and where is it?
Pretty much
Hamilton,
Greenville. Because Columbia is pretty much the center.
Okay, center. Okay.
Yeah, so Charleston, the Greenville, Florence. It's pretty much around everything. Myrtle Beach. You can pass through Columbia to go to Myrtle Beach or any of those other places.
If you went, say someone was visiting Charleston, how far away are you guys from Charleston?
2 hours.
Yeah. 2 hours. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a good day tomorrow. I hope
appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm so curious I can't wait to visit. Now I have so many people on my list.
Yeah. I saw you was running down the kind of like the East Coast a little bit.
Yeah. I've been trying to kind of just because there's a lot of open spaces that people haven't talked to people, and I want to make sure. Thanks, Brittney. I'm glad you were on this too.
I appreciate
you guys so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.